we are talking about the Vince McMahon Wall Street Journal article that deals with a lot of heavy accusations. So we're talking about a monster in a frank and honest manner. So just be wary of that as you listen to this episode. If you don't want to hear any of the bullshit he does, listen to one of our other episodes where we don't talk about horrifying crimes. Oh, hi, everyone. I am Dylan Gott.
I am John Hastings. And together, we're, say it at the same time,
John and Dylan online. And we are picking up something that we used to do on our wrestling show, which is the final crimes of Vince McMahon.
All right, little context for the two people that for some reason listen to this podcast and not our previous podcast. We, in the COVID year of 2020, made the worst decision of all decisions and spoke about Vince McMahon for a full year. It broke us, and in many ways is the reasons why we stopped doing the show. And I stopped watching wrestling for 2 years.
It caused the pandemic.
In many ways, it didn't make the pandemic any easier once a week just learning about history's greatest monster with your good friend. And today, all the wild speculation, the rude jokes, Dylan, that we made at the expense of this man, off-color humor, voices, various appendages, amorphized to speak. How right we turned out to be. I want a fucking, hey, you know who saw this coming? John and Dylan. You know who's really fun and nice? Dylan and John. You know who's got big penises and smelling breath? John and Dylan, that's who.
I think that the best, I remember someone going on, and this is like how I was hanging out with some wrestling fans, and they were like, yeah, everyone does the same like hacky Vince McMahon impression where it's just his voice, and then you gotta really say like 8 terrible things that they want another person to do. And it's like, yeah, that, which is, if you're not familiar with comedy, the reason things become hack is because they are.
Yeah.
They are used all the time because they're pretty much like men and women. Turns out there's a couple goddamn differences between those.
Dylan, shut up. Come on.
Might be from That's true.
Planets. I don't know.
And it's also true that Vince McMahon will text you stuff like, hey, no means yes.
I mean,
and no, here's the one. Here's the one where it's like he shows Brock Lesnar nudes of her.
That's the
Brock Lesnar says good, and then he goes, send me a video pissing. She does, and he goes, first he just texts back, bitch. That's fucking insane.
Brock Lesnar, reading this is like reading it. What's fascinating about this is none of this surprises me. If anything, I'm just like, let me tell you where I don't want to be right now. That fucking farm with someone bringing a printed out piece of paper showing the web page to Brock Lesnar of the
that was another really low key part of the Wall Street Journal article that is funny if you're a big wrestling fan, is that like the whole like we reached out for Brock Lesnar, he was unable to comment. It's like, yeah, man, he's not going to get that piece of mail for at least 3 weeks. Like he legitimately is a from now I guess we know he's the dude from, oh my god, what was that movie that Daniel Day-Lewis won the Oscar for where he's an oil man? That's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he's Daniel Plainview. That's exactly who
he's Daniel. Like not like in 2020, he's just full stop Daniel Plainview.
And as it turns out, but it's not oil he's after, it's piss. You know.
Ooh, that lady just had a lot of water. I gotta go. Wait.
This is my son RW, and I'm a piss man.
Oh, dude. And also and like
Mr. Lesnar, you're not being serious about me extracting the piss from your women. I'll be going to another town.
But it's also like, hey, I'm going to narrow down who this person is. I'll just say that they're a wrestler / former UFC champion. It's like, you couldn't just said MMA fighter. Everyone would have like, it could be Matt Riddle.
No. You're missing the even better part, which is she said they were renegotiating their contract towards the end of 2021, and he's a former, like, it was literally like, I'm not going to say it's Brock Lesnar, but Who do you fucking think it was?
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
It's a guy in a
It's
cowboy
also
hat with a sword tattoo.
so
No
yeah,
wonder he
exactly.
turned babyface. He was so happy from the horrifying crimes he had done.
Yeah, exactly. I got away with it. That's my favorite thing to do, Brock said into the mirror so people could hear him. Well, what did you get away with, Brock? A crime.
For those of you that don't know, too, Vince McMahon's lawyer, Jerry McDivitt, is just like
No,
the
no,
shark of all sharks. And he's
not
just,
anymore.
oh, yeah, he redid because McDivitt probably like was like, nah, it's fine. You got her. She's
Jerry,
a
no, no,
bitch.
no, no, no. Jerry McDivitt was asked for comment because he did like previous litigation that's tied to the suit, and all he said was, "I am no longer involved in anything to do professionally with the WWE or Vince McMahon." Like Jerry McDivitt is gone. It is the end state. So for the one person that has no idea what we're talking about, welcome to the Vince McMahon episode. Vince McMahon, the former CEO and current largest stockholder of TKO, the parent company of the UFC and WWE, today in a lawsuit was accused of sex trafficking, and according to evidence printed in the Wall Street Journal, had a like basically trapped a woman in employment and manipulated her life so he could show nudes of her to employees, and him and John Laurinaitis, like, it is the most
It is so much more. Is it
vile.
Weinstein, but worse? All right. So what is worse? I'm trying to think of the Weinstein stuff is like him forcing women to suck him off for movie roles. Vince McMahon is taking one woman. No, Vince McMahon is worse because he like goes like, now you have to fuck my friends.
Yeah, it's so
And
fucked up. It's like this, and it's like, yeah, it's for no
bruises are up with a fucking bruises are up with the dildo that he names after wrestlers, which
names
is
after
like,
wrestlers.
how can you
What?
do that? Like such a horrifying crime paired with something that's so silly.
And then, by the way, what brings this? Like, when does the relationship end? When his wife discovers and he's like, "You need to sign an NDA." By which, by the way, if you listen to the years of McMahon, you will know that's been Linda's role within that company going on since the fucking 80s. Which is, if let's say you're a ring boy and you're molested by the variety of predators they were employing in the late 80s. Oh, you're going to lunch with a sweet lady and you'll be signing something while she signs the check for that Cobb salad she had half of. Like, it is so fucked up. Like, it's so fucking weird. It was like literally listening to the most exaggerated. He shit on a woman's head during a threesome. What in the name
He
of
shit on her
God
head, not just any woman. He shit on the woman that he, I'm sure, in his mind owns.
is that? I wasn't sure if that was clear, if it was that or it was he shit on another WWE employee's head in a threesome with this woman. It was not clear. It's so fucking wild and fucking nuts.
And how
also,
old is he here? Like 70?
this is post COVID, ladies and gentlemen. Like, this is all happening in 2020 and 2021.
Oh, during COVID, shitting on someone's head.
He's shitting on someone's head during COVID. First of all, I don't want to be rude here, and I know that there's much worse things that have happened, but there were fucking guidelines to be followed, guys. And I can't believe the guy who bribed the governor of Florida to get declared.
Maybe he had a mask on.
An essential service. Well, if he had, I think her head would have been saved from the brown. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Jesus Christ, John. I think that this is all fucking horror.
There's always a moment after we stop recording where I look in a mirror and go, I did it again. Hey, ha.
I mean, he hard R gorilla'd this woman.
Yes,
70s. He Death Wish 2'd her. If you've seen the beginning of Death Wish 2, where they're like, oh yeah, the first one opens with sexual start starring Jeff Goldblum. Well, this one's got a sexual start starring Jeff Goldblum and like I forget who else. But like there's a lot of characters or actors in 90s movies that got their break sexually assaulting people in Death Wish.
It's weird. Yeah, Ted from Bill and Ted is in there as well in one.
Oh yeah, no, Keanu. Keanu plays
no, it's
the
not
person.
Keanu, the other one.
No, I'm being silly. I'm being a silly Billy.
1,000 apologies. And which one is Bill and which one is Ted?
Oh, that's actually bye. No idea.
Good.
frig, now I gotta sign into my Wall Street Journal account that I
No, you don't.
that I now have because of this article.
I have Apple News, and thank God Wall Street Journal's included in it. It's like anytime big news breaks now, it's a real neighbor's Wi-Fi in 2008 situation where you're like, oh Jesus, as long as this guy doesn't figure out how to fucking password protect this, we're on fucking easy street. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess you gotta go down.
Oh man, it's so nuts.
Do you think that he is he no, this is like I'd say he's midway between Weinstein and Cosby, which is an insane scale. Because you understand that this is just I mean, this is definitely like the end of the line for a serial killer where they just kill someone in the middle of the road at noon and then are eating a sandwich and standing by the body. Like this is probably what happened. That type of thing or that brazen a crime. But he's already like been accused of rape in the 80s, in the 90s, the Ring Boy scandal, which for those of you that don't know was basically, but I mean, the Ring Boy scandal was every single sports arena, I think, had it where it's like, turns out ushers are pedophiles at sports arenas. And it's like
everything basically, how do I say this? Everything I'm going to go 2006. If you walk into a building 50-50, someone working there is just using it to be a pedophile. 50-50%. Like,
about a building?
Like any building.
It's on her head. Janelle.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was on her head. Which I think his thing is ownership of a person, which is insane. That he's like, oh, I can own this woman. And he's guaranteed there's other women who he's done this exact fucking thing.
100%, which is why I don't think that this is, I think the beginning, I think that this is done very calculated. I think that TKO and Ari Emanuel are, speaking of shitting, are shitting themselves that they fucking let this fucking idiot show up at Wall Street yesterday when they brought The Rock on the board and literally inked a $5 billion deal with Netflix. Like, it's also that thing of like,
oh yeah, they did it yesterday. And I remember there was an interview about it where it's like, yeah, this is actually pretty low. 10 years, $5 billion, which is sounds silly, but it's like, that is pretty low for, oh, that's why. They probably got the Wall Street Journal tip and they're like, sign it up. Sign it. Yeah, you work with us. You can make a documentary about this.
Yeah, like it's literally, they were like, okay, who's going to be probably the broadcaster that's going to last the longest? Or it'll be Netflix. We'll take what we can get. Okay, great. Oh, yeah. Is there anything else we should know? Don't ask me that tomorrow. Okay, bye.
And also, yeah, it's a company, like I said before, this company is only made because like, hey, both of the heads of these WWE and UFC are going to be caught for some pretty fucking crazy shit. This is also like the weekend after that a UFC fighter was asked like,
oh my God,
do you like trans people? And then he was like, well, what? So you'd be fine if you had a gay son? And the guy's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, okay. I guess you don't want any grandkids. Then he's like, you're weak. I don't know. Sean Strickland is insane.
Sean
anyway.
Strickland is a loser. Let me say this to Sean Strickland. I could beat him in a fight. I just
no, you
no. Choose when.
Here's
the
when.
Oh no. You want to know when? You want to know when?
No, here's the thing. If this guy here, this is, you're not fucking
seconds before he is already being consumed by a disease. I think I might have a shot any other time. El Guapo. Yeah.
Have you ever seen his apartment?
I've seen I've watched a Theo Vaughn's podcast is becoming a real.
Oh, Theo Vaughn's podcast is just platforming evil people now.
Exactly.
So, what do you think about them JUs, Adolf?
Now, shoot, what is your name?
Okay.
I'm last king of Scotland, Edie Amin. Now, guillotine was some sort of prank, right?
Yeah, he's giving them excuses.
Yeah.
So, the brown shirts. Why? My question would be, why do you think those go so good with our skin?
Yeah. Now, say this about the little hats on the SS guys. Makes them look cute. So, Vince,
I don't understand why that many people don't want to shower.
Let me say, holy Lord. Let me say this right now. I guarantee it's a 70-30 shot. Vince McMahon shows up on Theo Vaughn's podcast, and I want Theo Vaughn to ask, fuck, Vince, you shit on a girl's head? What's that like? Is the question that will be asked.
That's so funny. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
She wanted it, right? Yes. Yeah, okay, she wanted it. We're agreed.
Yeah.
Case over.
This is legal, right? Like, also, I gotta tell you, Pat Mac, you know who is not a friend in these situations? And that is the algorithms of social media. Because you type in Vince McMahon and Pat McAfee, because Pat McAfee is such a driver of content anyway. And so it's Vince McMahon is immediately, you just see so many Pat McAfee videos. It's literally like Vince McMahon is Carnival Cosby, and then Pat McAfee just literally like, Vince, I love you and everything you've done I agree with. And it's just like, oh, Pat, weird week.
Is there any, here's a question, is there any fun broy thing that's not run by a monster?
Dave Matthews Band.
DMB, baby, that's the only
So
thing.
pure. Here's the thing, that guy's a booze bag, like apparently like a real wild drunk, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, you get it. Imagine that you're like,
He's not telling people
exactly
that they have no mind because they're going to choke to death on his cock or something.
Oh my God, it's so wild. It's also like, here's the thing I was thinking about is they're getting this from the legal documents, which is like, how do we say this in the most legal way possible? And it's like, well, we still have to definitely mention him defecating on her head. Like, this is so fucking insane. It's also, there was a board
legally
investigation that we now may have some real problems. Like, there was also like, there was a, but like, basically what's alleged is that merger, basically they were like, hey, we want to sell the company. And they opened a door and they were like, hey, do we need to look in this room? And they're like, technically you do, but I would not walk into it or examine it. Okay. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, they had an entire company that's made up. Endeavor is mostly an agency, isn't it? So it's like
an agency.
Brad
like
Pitt going like, Brad Pitt being like, we have to save the world. The world is too hot and we have to ignore my Learjet that's idling. We have to be one with the earth. And then, and then the thing he's railing against where it's like, okay, we have to split these companies into left wing and fascism.
like what's even crazier is it's like Endeavor is an agency, and basically what Ari Emanuel figured out, which is like, if I can buy and acquire brands that I buy and purchase with basically the equity accrued from my high value clients, I then can install them as board members to draw attention to said brands, which I own, making it more lucrative. Like, Ari Emanuel
and The Rock is now a member of TKO, or like has a board seat on TKO, which is great. And now he'll have to answer questions. He's like, really pleased to be here. Wait, what happened? Oh no, I have 2 cheat days this week.
Cody Rhodes can't stop getting fucked by wealthy dudes. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
AEW, you're not getting pushed by that curly-haired son bitch. And then he heads on over to Vince's fucking house.
I think this is a bit different than a guy who's like, so those of you who don't know, AEW is like the second wrestling organization, and it's basically a billionaire gave his son some money to be like, hey, here's $10, go make me 11, but you're gonna have fun. And then he's making his $11 out of his 10. And then, Vince McMahon, or like his real name isn't even McMahon, it's Hanner. And so it's like Vince Hanner, who then took his adopted father's name, it's funny because it is like, someone said this, Vince McMahon is both stories of how you accrue wealth in the United States, where he didn't know his father for the first like decade plus of his life, and then is found by his blood father, and basically he adopts him. So it's like he both was a guy who came up from nothing and also fell butt first into his fucking
it's the worst of all possibilities, which is he was handed everything. He
had to earn it.
He had to earn it. And also, like, everyone beat,
and he texts women stuff like,
exactly,
you're gonna die on my dick. Also, here's have sex with my lumpier friend before work. I don't know why the before work thing was so egregious, where it's like, okay, you're basically functionally giving a woman a salary to be a sex slave, but don't make her have sex with the other half of the fucking New Japan tag champs from 1990.
Yeah, you are literally fucking just you're at.
I'm still a surfer, you know that?
Okay, Vince McMahon, you're Jeffrey Epstein, and your Prince Andrew is the guy who only had a wrestling career because one Japanese lady liked him.
Well, also it's like, Can you imagine you're so scared and then someone's like, hey, this other guy likes you, Brock Lesnar, and you're like, okay, my life just went from a nightmare to nine. Like that's
I
fucking
didn't realize.
crazy.
Yeah, I didn't realize this nightmare. Also, it's like the
He's walking
brazen
here. When he
evil of
gets here, you got to do what he says.
it's also the brazen evil fucked up thing of he's walking through the fucking legal department and he's just like, good, a lawyer. That's who I'll manipulate and destroy. Because I when I'm taking the power from someone, I want to make sure that in many ways they could come back at me, but that's how much I break their spirit.
So, professional wrestler who was exiled from WWE, Ryback, made a TikTok about it, and I watched it.
Oh fuck yeah, he did.
Went
This
into
is
the comments, and the comments are mostly people be literally, here's multiple comments. Yeah, I mean Vince is awful, but Ryback is worse. And it's like, this is what wrestling fans
this is the thing.
either terrible is that Vince McMahon comes out on literally the first time he got the allegations, he came out and just was like, welcome to SmackDown, and then walked back just to be like, fuck you.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, yeah, literally they were like, he's being forced out of the company because he used company funds to pay off people that he abused. And his response was to like basically camera on him, and he was just like, "I'm bulletproof."
All of the riffs that we did, even the ones that we riffed and then deleted from the episode, were like, no, weren't as bad.
They were not as bad. We did not. We maybe were this bad. They were.
Maybe for the first couple years.
Yeah,
but I don't think we're like, yeah, all right, give me two chicks. I want to shit on one of their heads.
That I could tell you.
No, we probably said that.
Yeah, we definitely said that. Like I am guaranteeing you, we said that. That's 100%. That's Stampsy's no.
Okay, here's my question then for you, John.
Go ahead, Dylan.
Do you think sexual assault is actually illegal for the wealthy?
I think it should be. I do.
No. I know. Do you think it actually is?
No, I don't think that it is illegal for.
You don't think he'll see a day of jail time?
I don't think he's going to see a day of jail time. I think that he will be exiled. I think that he will sort of like.
It'll be like a Donald Stern situation where it's like, correct. Oh yeah, he just gets to be a huge multi-billionaire.
Yeah, he just has to ability, like
he has to have $6 billion liquid now instead of in stock. That's his punishment.
Exactly. His punishment is just like he's just gonna have to figure out what do you do with $6 billion in hundreds. Here's the other thing is
what if he starts him and Lesnar starting a new company?
Oh yeah. God. But here's the thing is Lesnar's off TV. Like they have Lesnar is like
you think so off TV?
That's well. Here's the thing that I've enjoyed about this is everyone's dunking on the quote unquote wrestling journalists, and it's like, yeah, man, Dave Meltzer isn't fucking scooping this. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they're all dunking That's what I was thinking of. Like, oh wow, this is the first time someone's paid attention to wrestling and has resources.
That's the thing. Is it
also you can't like this is very much a score. If your entire job is within an industry, you can't just be like, oh, and then one day I decided to light. I work in forestry. I decided to light the forest on fire. That's what this is. This is like no one within that company will ever trust this man again. Well, like, I'm sorry, if no one within this company would ever trust a reporter, like if fucking John Pollock did this, no one in WWF is telling him anything anymore.
Correct. And by the way, like all of them are now like explaining the whole thing. Exactly that is that they're all beat reporters. They only can trade in gossip. They're essentially page 6, but for fucking gentlemen that wear spandex. They
also just review the thing. It's like you're blaming the people that review Pulp Fiction for not fucking busting the fucking Weinstein shit.
I mean, it's also that thing of it was a huge amount of media control. And I guarantee also people would have assumed, oh, Vince, he has affairs. I don't think anyone is aware of the scale of what was happening.
No one would think it's like, oh, Vince McMahon. Yeah. He's most Christian Bale characters rolled into one.
Yeah.
This is I will say it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And the other part that's crazy is that he also is while doing this he texts exactly like my 71-year-old father-in-law does, so it's like they're same. 71-year-olds, no matter what, they text the same. Random capitalization,
of course. Why wouldn't you listen when the
how do you spell cock? Well, that's a C, a 0, a big C, small K.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, the baby boomer generation does continually like to throw curveballs at we, the elder millennials. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, this is not anything I hate, but I just gotta tell you, I don't like it.
So so yeah, I don't know. And John, I mean, this is something you've touched on in our previous podcast, but do you believe these allegations?
Yes, one hunt. What? Let me say
So a
this.
change
What? What are you talking about? Did I not?
before you didn't believe it.
Oh well, I'd like to go back to the episode. By the
Justice
way,
John Hastings, that was your old nickname on our previous
hey,
podcast, the
listen,
wrestler review.
there was a time when I was trying to court. I wanted to appear on those podcasts that have a lot of purple lighting against a curtain background. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, one of those podcasts where you're doing this, where it's the most expensive mic you've ever seen, and you're literally saying nothing.
Exactly correct. I want it to be like it started off as a guy playing video games, and for some reason, he's now really gotten into debates.
Oh yes, those are the best. Where a guy's like, "Yeah, I could friggin', I'm gonna heckler destroy you," but why then? That's my
Oh my
move. I
God.
ask why.
I was walking, went for a late night walk last night.
Oh,
Oh, dark moment of the soul. Anyway, I walked by a guy picture window and he was just watching a YouTuber, like he was watching a Twitch streamer on a big screen TV. And as I was walking by, he sort of sensed me and we locked eyes and he changed the channel. Dylan is currently panicking on screen. I assume something's happened with his family. Go ahead, Dylan.
no, my phone is ringing and I don't know where the phone is.
Oh,
You know when you hear a buzz, but you don't know where the phone is?
my
That's it.
fucking like literally all day every day with everything to do with my life in all ways. So basically where this stands now is Vince McMahon is the largest stockholder of TKO. TKO has currently added The Rock to its board of directors, and they have said that they're going to conduct a thorough investigation, although all of this happened before that they arrived. What is very clear is that they were exactly aware that there was a problem brewing, and you know this because in the SEC filing, Vince McMahon is listed as a liability because I guarantee a lawyer was like, hey, I understand that you businessmen have a heart of evil and are made of nothing but bitterness and bile. But my job is to be a professional warrior, and I spent 30 seconds with this fucking guy, and he farted on two of my things and called my briefcase a homosexual. So I would assume that you're going to want to drown him in some sort of cement that's also mercury that could dissolve the body, or get yourself like 8 lawyers that are just kind of good at everything. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
we did our quick investigation. It turns out this year the XFL is going to be the best one yet, guys. So let's get tuned up.
Oh my God. Do you
Let's
understand?
love it. Let's get the XFL. How about this? How about this? All right. Instead of a trial,
People,
Janelle versus Vince on the football field. What does
yeah,
that sound like? That sounds like ratings, baby.
people are acting like they're like, well, Vince McMahon is done. And I went, no, 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 no.
No.
Vince McMahon has just been set free, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I'm going to say this.
He is Trump. The reason that him and Trump
I got
talk so
three
much
words
is
for you.
because,
I got
yeah.
3 words for you, Dylan Gott. Joe Rogan experience.
I really hope so.
I think it's not, if it, the problem
He'll
is
ruin his own life even more while with zero pressure from Joe Rogan.
it will be one of those ones where you will watch Joe Rogan realize within 30 seconds this is about to be the most insane 3 hours of my life. Like, because whatever you want to say about that guy is at least somewhat grounded in reality. And it's that thing of like, you can tell, like, he'd be like, there's a reason why he hasn't had Dana White on the podcast, is that just, I think for that amount of time, you have to become yourself. And Vince McMahon for over 3 hours, like, I guarantee hour 2, he's fully just like, yeah, I did it. And she was right to try and sue me. Let's see if she can win. If she wins, ha ha ha, I get to text her again. If she loses, I also get to text her again. Like, you understand?
Yeah, it'll be like yeah, of course I did it. It's my right as a man to do it. And then
Yeah,
Sean Strickland pops up and he goes like, "That's what I'm saying. I've been chewing on desk underneath this because I'm a cuck to this man. I am a simp to only this man." And he texts me a bunch of stuff. He's been pooping on my head all goddamn night.
Here's the thing, Joe. We had a little thing in the WWE called the Attitude Era. I was doing the Attitude Era to a person. Is I guarantee you, like Vince.
You think he's going to do the Hulk Hogan defense where he's like, "Oh, that was Mr. McMahon
Yes,
shitting on
he
her
will.
head."
I guarantee that. I think he was like, I was working a gimmick.
He will probably say that.
He would 100% say that. If this trial, I think we should go. If this is like, do you understand how wild this
It'll
trial is?
be
His
insane if
defense,
Vince doesn't try and do it on a Thursday of WrestleMania. So like, yeah, the trial's Thursday, and then SmackDown, then NXT, then WrestleMania. What do you want?
yeah, exactly. Oh my God, he's gonna try and do it wherever WrestleMania.
Or I guess
We
there's
have
2 days of WrestleMania, so the trial will open. The trial's the
trials
first
2
thing,
days. It's
or
2 days.
trial's the first match.
Yeah, it's first match.
It's not longer than WrestleMania. Or he'll try and
But
have it during WrestleMania to compete with WrestleMania.
he would want that. Do you understand?
So
But
that's what he wants. He's like, all right, that you don't want me anymore? Fine. I'll destroy your company.
I want you to know the XFL is coming back 100%. You've nailed that. We're probably getting. He's like, it's a 5% shot he shows up in AEW. If he shows up in AEW, literally we live in a, I think I don't know what this existence is. And it is so, if we live in a world where CM Punk is in the WWE and Vince McMahon with a fucking bunch of sex trafficking allegations is the TNT world champion, I'm going to cut my pinky thumb off, my pinky off on the podcast. I cut this off.
You think that the fucking, I don't think that, yeah, I don't know. I just don't think that what, it sounds awful, but it's like, I just don't think that one person with a ton of evidence can do justice to a man who has $1 billion and the protection around him of like, if this one person who is most likely in the right succeeds, then it does a lot of damage to a large company. And I just don't think that America is set up like that.
I've changed my mind, and here's what it is. Vince McMahon is a small-time billionaire, and there's a medium-time billionaire named Ari Emanuel. And if Vince McMahon continues to be around, and I assume appear on InfoWars with Alex Jones, and like try and be on what he thinks is the Pat McAfee show, and is really just
no,
Jason Whitlock.
Here's what he's doing right now. He's like, that's really fun. He's right now, he's calling frantically, trying to get on Larry King. People are explaining to him Larry King is dead. He does not believe him.
Yeah.
Okay, changed his name. Jew guy.
Yeah. Well,
Tiny Jew.
Was it Saturday?
All right, get me Costas. Oh God, Costas, we both look fucked. All right.
Yeah, Bob Costas. But just sidebar, by the way, what he Bob Costas looks like a ventriloquist doll that survived a fire.
He does look slightly melted, yes, and it is insane that Bob Costas of all people was like, "No, I need that work done." It's always the weird ones who are like, "Oh, you."
It's the
you're crazy.
What it shows is it's like, oh, you're that kind of vain,
which is nuts.
Yeah,
but like it's insane that he's that type of thing. Anyway, you could always tell by the increased vocabulary where it's like a lot of people would write in like it's unnecessary to say perspicacity when someone throws to first.
That's so true.
It's just like I do a word of the day calendar and I take it extremely seriously. Pardon me while I don't expose one of history's greatest monsters.
What people also don't know.
But it is nuts that like basically it's just like the Wall Street Journal went into a roach infested apartment and was like, oh, why do we never go in here?
Yeah, no, it's 100%. Also, like, I want to call the Wall Street Journal and be like, guys, by the way, just get a WWE section and start digging. Like, and they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, what do I mean? What do I mean? Like, what do you mean? What do I mean? Like what? Get after it. Like, it's going to be nuts. And I think what I think what may actually happen is TKO will push Vince McMahon off a cliff in an effort to look like they had nothing to do with this and didn't aid a cover up in any way. That's my theory.
Well, they for sure knew it was coming because of the Rock being named to the board and the Netflix deal. The Netflix deal seems like way less than they could have gone, and the Rock is like just a really good guy to have on the board to stick on every single show to answer the same 8 questions as a like, oh hey, you mentioned politics. Here's your chance to do politics, man. This is fucking horrible.
Yeah, basically what they're basically using the WWE is basically Ciroc and the Rock is P. Diddy, to use an example of like they're basically, to use another monster example of business. But yes, exactly correct. They definitely knew about this. But what is interesting is if it is found that board investigation was fraudulent, that could have huge ramifications because it's like, was the merger appropriate? Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know anything about that. All I know is that today another arrow has pierced the armor of Vincent Kennedy Hanner, and he is gonna, while going insane because due to his mind drifting. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe
Gareth gets
maybe
choking
justice
down
will
here.
be served and he'll have to spend 1 year in jail before he does something insane in jail.
The possibility Vince McMahon is Donald Trump's running mate now that he's got the summer free. What's the possibility? I want a number. What do you
Zero.
think? I don't think it's zero. I got
But they're
bad news
both the
for you.
same type of thing. This is what I was saying
That
earlier, where it's like a bunch of people where it's like there's little things that just aren't done in polite society, and Vince McMahon and Donald Trump are both like, yeah, we'll do it. I don't care. Well, I'm gonna just like be a bully and all these like weird unwritten rules I'm just gonna do, and you're gonna try and get me in your weird rules, and I'm just gonna pay people enough that those rules don't apply to me.
I want to know what the deal is now. Like, I want to know what the awareness of Stephanie and Triple H was for all of this. I desperately want to know.
I don't think that like think all right, think about how men can have secret families for years. I think it's completely reasonable
Yeah.
that it's like, oh, that's the my fucking dad's a scumbag. He's cheating on my mom with that girl, and everyone just knows it in the office. It's fucking horrible. And then you're like, what? She's a
Yeah.
fucking sex
That's
slave.
exactly what I think it was. Like, it was literally like, what the fuck?
It's the freaking classic. Like that guy's weird. He had 9 bodies in the basement. It's that.
Yeah, that's exactly
I
it.
just thought he was like really into Star Trek.
Yeah. Well, I guess I was right to be nervous around that guy.
Probably how people were John Wayne Gacy, where it's like he's a clown at kids' birthdays. That's kind of weird. Oh dear God.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, people, it's funny with that sort of stuff. If people, I guarantee there was like, I fucking knew. I fucking knew the whole time, but I'm not a snitch.
Oh, we did actually know though.
Yeah. But I
Oh
actually,
wait, well, we won't snitch. Oh yeah, that I didn't wait for the last part. John knew, I didn't.
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
John could totally tell, but he didn't want to snitch because
Exactly. I
he
could
believes
totally
in a
tell, but
man's
I just
right.
like keeping secrets from people. That's my problem. That's like my
Ooh, I like little secrets.
yeah, I like the little secrets. I whisper to them in my little fort. No one can find me in my little fort.
Oh, yeah, go on John Sport. Find out what really happened on
Do not
9/11.
find my fort. It is only for me.
So anyway, Vince McMahon, alleged stuff. Also, saying it's alleged at this point is like
It's
she's
also,
completely bared her name. There's a picture of her in the Wall Street Journal. Like this lady is fucking out there, dude. Like
I'm gonna
she
say
is
this.
in
Vince
for a
McMahon,
whole bunch of stuff. I hope she has little fort she's in.
Fritz von Erich was about to be like sort of like cast as like wrestling's great villain, and to not be outdone, Vince McMahon went, aha.
Oh, you think that Vince McMahon saw Iron Claw, stood up, and went,
Call the Wall
"Release
Street
the
Journal.
text
Yeah,
messages.
correct. That's what I think it was. He went, no way.
I leaked it. I leaked it because Fritz will never beat me.
I
Ole
guarantee-
Anderson was in that movie, and I hate Ole Anderson, and I swear to fucking God.
I swear to fucking God, I will fucking get Ole. Like, when they do the Dark Side of the Ring on this saga, which they will do, I goddamn guarantee you they're gonna have to fucking trank dart Vince to not be part of it.
They will never ever do a Dark Side of the Ring on this because it'll be the dark side of the whole. They'll have to do what we did, which is like the whole year of like, because now this like reframes his entire life, where it's like the whole lot. It's not the most
don't think
interesting
it
thing
does.
about him. When we did our year of McMahon, the most interesting thing about him was like we thought he basically killed Owen Hart through negligence, and we thought about the sexual assaults and the Ring Boy scandal and the steroids, which we always liken the steroid thing to like a man holding a gun and he's covered in blood, and they go like, "We're gonna check your taxes, buddy, because you look like a tax evader." Like that's what it's
I
like the
guarantee
one
you
thing
probably
he
got some-
wasn't guilty
Yeah.
of.
I guarantee you got some cocaine on you somewhere, right?
Yeah.
No, just a bunch of heroin. Well, I'm only here to arrest someone for cocaine.
Okay, buddy, cool it down. No one cares about medical heroin, which I assume that right now in my mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, goodbye. But like, and that this reframes his life. It's now the story of like it's like fucking Cosby, dude. It's like this the whole story of like how he gained this power to act out this fantasy of like literal fucking like he doesn't. Some people want like it's funny because the whole I guess the stereotype is that billionaires want to be treated like shit by sex workers. Is that they pay sex workers to whip them and shit. That was the whole stereotype, and it's like, oh no, sometimes billionaires want to like
oh yeah,
just own a person and shit on their face.
Yeah, as it turns out, that scene "Ass to Ass" from fucking that nightmare of a movie that I can never remember the fucking
Requiem for a Dream. Oh, you mean ass to ass, or as Vince calls it, Wednesday through Sunday?
Yeah, exactly. Or yeah, every day. Fuck me. Is like, yeah, that's just what it is.
It's Raw. Raw's done again. Everybody come to my party.
No,
I will say this though, it is like fuck, like get the fucking creeps. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking Prince Andrew is just fucking boo. No one fucking likes the royal family in England anymore. Vince McMahon.
So wait, Raw is Prince Andrew in jail? No.
No, he's not.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
No.
Vince McMahon will not go to jail.
No.
What a fucking horrible world.
I mean, the consolation prize is Vince's entire life, in many ways, was his image, and he will be known for this forever. This is like,
Yeah, well,
I
he's
don't-
fucking in a fucking
yeah,
inflatable with as many drinks as he wants in the middle of his huge pool,
yeah,
and other
exactly.
people
Well, he's
struggle
just-
to live.
He's probably just like, I feel a bit sad I'm not on TV inside this house.
I walk 5 miles for fresh water. Well, don't worry, that guy won what he deserved because he friggin' sexually assaulted
Well,
women
actually,
for
I also-
3 decades, and now he has to hang out with a lot of time on his
don't
hands.
actually even think that he's actually hanging out. He actually just bought Fuse TV, and now he's just on TV talking about how he was right to do what he did. I mean, yeah.
I really hope that something like that happens because it is true. It's like he is like a megalomaniac in that way where he would just buy like, oh, Vince McMahon bought Spike TV or fucking Freedom USA
Well,
or whatever it's called,
I
and
think
just like
this is about to get
has a
very
24-hour
interesting because
podcast.
He is the largest stockholder of TKO, and they're going to have to get him out, which means they're going to have to make him sell his stock.
But he doesn't have the majority share anymore, does he?
I don't think he has the majority.
He doesn't have like 51% because it's a fused company. So
No, I don't think he has 51%, but I think he's still like. I don't think
because he
has,
would have had to own all of
controlling
WWE. He has a controlling stake in something.
Yeah, he's a controlling stake in something. He has a.
But if everyone binds together, which I don't think Dana White will. I think Dana White's not going to. I think Dana White.
Because here's the thing: is I guarantee Dana White is going to be like, I'm going to need to hear his side of the story. Like, yeah. Also, here's the interesting thing. For
Listen, everybody, I don't know what to tell you guys. Vince McMahon, as far as what I've got behind closed doors, had a Coors Light, so I'm with Vince.
Yeah. First of all, here's what I got to say: who hasn't fucking just tried to feed a girl to Brock? Like, first of all, we all have to do that. Like, you know what I mean? You know how Dana just says the most evil shit and then acts like a, yeah, who hasn't just taken an Uzi to a 4th grader's class and just fucking shot a couple of kids to feel like God? Aren't we men? You know what I mean? That's what you'd get from Dana White. She worked for him, so that's how that happens. I guess I'm the only one who has a job.
Yeah.
Also, I still think I could fight Dana White. I don't give a fuck what you say. Dana White.
I would love to. I would love to watch a future fascist dictator beat up my friend. I don't know what to tell you, so I would love to see that fight go.
I'd really like to see it too. Because here's the thing: is I think I'd surprise you. Oh, I think I'd take him down. Mostly because I think I think he get winded a lot quicker, and also
I really
I'm
don't
cheating.
think so.
Cheating.
I don't.
CHEATING. Brass knucks. Boo.
I think that Vince McMahon right now is having a tall glass of whatever.
Milk.
What is he like? Yeah, he's like just like scotch.
It's milk. He's drinking a.
He's drinking.
having a brandy Alexander.
He's
Bruce
having
Pritchard's there. By the way, like, if this isn't addressed on the next edition of Something to Wrestle, go fuck yourself. Conrad Thompson, I assume you're listening, get on it, bro. What are we
Is
doing?
that show still happening? There's no way he will.
I have no idea. I have no, like,
Once again, like I said about wrestling journalists, and you said they were beat reporters. Conrad
gossip
Thompson.
reporters.
Conrad Thompson, if nothing else, trades only on his access. So there's absolutely no 100% no way he will ever talk about this. John Pollock from Post Wrestling is not a gossip reporter. He will only talk about things once he has, like, he's an actual journalist, and this is something that happened in wrestling, is that people who actually went to school for journalism are going into wrestling now just because of how journalism went, where it's like pretty much 100% user
Yeah.
it's 100% user funded, instead of like a medium would never let anyone cover wrestling, like an actual newspaper, except for like I think in the 90s someone let Meltzer do it. But yeah, I mean, Meltzer's the one where it's like oh, you had all this fucking access and you didn't know that you had fucking Ted Bundy
I,
running
bet
a
you
company.
that Meltzer probably could look back on his text message and he ignored it. He's like, that does nothing to do with the standings of the Intercontinental Championship.
You're gonna choke and die on my dick, and I'm gonna come and knife fuck you.
Wrong number again, Vince.
Oopsie doopsie. Sorry.
No, Vince, actually, I was just asking if you are going to keep the belt on Rey Mysterio.
I just want to know about Jeff Hardy's contract status. Stop sending me these nudes.
No, that is his status. He has to sign his contracts are these nudes.
That's probably that's a thing that probably happened where he's like, I don't think I'm gonna go with you. I think I'm gonna go with WCW. And then he just went,
Sean, the things I showed you.
and Sean was like, actually, I'm really excited to main event WrestleMania until I die.
He's gonna recast it, but he also, like, when this all went down the first time and Vince was forced out, Brock fucked off from the arena, and I think part of that was he was like, "Oh no, 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 no."
Well, yeah, Brock was like, I won't be on the show unless you reinstate Vince McMahon, because
but I guarantee that he went or get the lady on the other side of this to give me her phone for a second. I got it.
Although that is the most illuminating thing for everyone that says Brock Lesnar has a phone in the woods. It's part of it is him texting her. She sends him the video and he texts her back. Like, he clearly has a phone.
Yeah, of course he does. Also, by the way, I'm going to say this. Apologies to the people of Winnipeg.
Saskatchewan, actually.
Yeah, but he's a Winnipeg Blue Bombers fan, so I'm blaming Winnipeg. Saskatchewan's been through enough.
Yeah, it really does suck to lose Brock Lesnar as a model Canadian.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't much of one before. He really blamed our health system for something that was clearly his fault, that diverticulitis. But still.
He did that UFC fight as a Canadian, and then he came out at the end and he was like, you know what? There's too much fighting in the world and not enough people sending me unsolicited nudes of people they're seeing.
Yeah. Hi. Just want to let everybody know I am a monster. Okay.
The Beast Incarnate isn't a nickname. It's how I live my life. Send me those sex.
Like, this is the other thing to sort of understand is basically Vince McMahon, much like the quote attributed to Hitler is, listen to exactly what he is saying. That is who this person is. Vince McMahon kind of the entire time was like, I'm going to
What's that Hitler quote you just threw in our podcast?
It wasn't a Hitler quote. It was a quote about Hitler, which is like,
okay,
listen to what he is saying. He's telling you exactly who he is.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon kind of was doing that too by, let's say, all those times he made a woman bark like a dog at 9:15 on cable television.
Yeah, not even double digits on a work night.
On a work night, on a Monday, on the family night. And when Bob Costas rightly was like, is that a bit over the line, Vince? Vince McMahon responded with, how could you? How? What about that was over the line?
Oh, that's bad now?
Dog. Yeah, well, it's bad. It's bad.
I didn't kick her.
Yeah.
I wanted to.
I wanted to kick her.
For that, I'll have that, but for free. I didn't burn her on camera. Also, those are two things I did.
And just Linda McMahon just fucking like, just being like, oh, that's nice, darling. I understand you have a lot of problems with my husband. How about this? You sign this paper and I don't look behind you because I have everyone you've ever loved in a box with a bunch of scorpions in their eyes. So they don't get their eyes poked out and you get a bit of money.
Also, every baby boomer can fuck off with giving advice where they're literally like, it's like, you guys, your generation's a bit too in touch with your emotions. And it's like,
who said that?
I generalize things about millennials, and it's like,
your
generation literally is like, well, I said I do to this guy when I'm 19. I better keep a stack of NDAs in my top drawer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I know that I'm sure Linda was victimized, but also like, fuck off, Linda, you fucking, I don't know.
So wait, who said that to you?
Who
said that our generation's too emotional?
I'm just making a generalization about baby boomers v millennials and just how like I'm also going in on Linda McMahon on this.
Also, I really like when you meet someone older than us. I don't say, I feel like the same, even the generation. You meet someone, I'm going to say 55 plus, and then they say, oh, yeah, you guys, with your blah, 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 your mental illness, everyone has a whatever. And you're like, just try in your head being like, yeah, you have like three things I can think of. Like
Yeah.
you have three of the big ones, but you're just never gonna.
Yeah.
You just check the stove every 14 seconds, and you're telling everybody about how mental
Yeah,
illness
you're right.
doesn't exist.
Yeah, you're just yelling at a stranger, and I'm the one that has a problem with anxiety. Yeah. All right. Cool, buddy. Yeah. Good to
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Yeah, if one thing doesn't work, you just start weeping, and it's like, yeah, but you
Yeah.
don't have that shit.
You literally stressed over four hypotheticals you just told me, and once again, I am a stranger, so I'm just gonna go with maybe you want to just get in touch with. I assume there's a lot of shouting in that household, and either you have to arrive on time for everything or always late because of someone's behavior. Anyway,
Oh yeah, I mean, also another thing is like, yeah, you did something terrible, and then it's like, yeah, it wasn't my fault. I was raised by a single mom. It's like, go fuck yourself. I don't know.
oh
There's a
yeah,
lot of
I
part where
guess
it's like, listen, I don't think things are good and evil, but like sometimes you're just a fucking
someone recent
asshole.
someone recently did Joe drop the like you don't know like literally was like you don't know what it's like, man. Raised by a single mom, and I literally was like in my head I was like I've known this
Most
guy
of
for a
us were.
long time, and I was like, first of all, parents divorced at 16, so that's 2 years. And it's like, first of all, I had a single mom the whole time, motherfucker. Like, what are you talking about? I had a single mom. It's like 16 to 18. So you drove yourself to your dad's other place? Fuck.
That's so fun. Yeah, I mean, it's always funny when they excuse their poor behavior, but with like something that's not that serious. Like,
I still got to tell you. Oh, yeah. Go. Give
I
me
don't
an
know, man.
example.
It's not. I don't know, man. Yeah, did I trap that woman in a cave with no food? Yeah, but I had a Sega Dreamcast, dude. No PS1, no N64. So
Hey, man.
I guess my hard upbringing made the decisions for me, bro.
You know what it was like just playing either Crazy Taxi or Shadow Caliber in 2003? It was
Ugh.
rough.
I couldn't get Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I had to fucking Echo with a Dolphin. No, wait, that was Sega CD. I had that too. We were a
Yeah,
Sega household.
yeah, it was off
I was
brand. It was
trapped.
it was so good for the Genesis.
It was
So bad for everything else.
I was playing fucking Joe Montana football instead of Madden, even though Sega had Madden too. But I made my bed.
Yeah,
Then that's
exactly.
why I embezzled or whatever.
Yeah, I just gotta say this. Vince
I like
McMahon.
the running character of Theo Vaughn interviewing.
Oh my God. Hey,
Yeah.
shoot. Hey, let me ask you this question, right?
Okay,
You
can I call you
are
Joe? Joseph Stalin. Okay, Joe,
yo,
you got a pretty good mustache on you, don't you? I trap you, I kill you. Oh, okay, man. To each his own. You're a wild cat.
hey, shoot. So when they say that you were like Hitler, was that you?
Okay. I don't know, man. That plane you ran, Jeffrey. Do you think that I could still get on that?
Now, let me ask you a question here, Whitey Bulger. I understand that you killed a lot of children, but some people have accused you of fucking them. Is that better?
Um, I think that it's gonna be something that like he messed with you on our old podcast. You thought Vince was gone forever, and I said absolutely not, and I still think absolutely not. There's some way he's going to like uh be the first to clone a person, and he'll just clone Susan B. Anthony and pin her at WrestleMania 59.
Maybe I feel like Endeavor is going to really try and bury him under concrete. I don't think he's going to go away. I actually do think it's possible he buys Fuse TV. Like he buys Fuse TV, he tries to be in the Trump administration. Like who the fuck knows? But I am with you. I think that this is not the last we've heard of Vince
Oh
McMahon.
yeah, he buys the Daily Beast. He changes it to the Daily Beast incarnate, and it's just a piss website for porn.
It's very possible. Do you understand that it is very possible Vince McMahon just buys AEW? Like,
No, Tony Khan wouldn't sell because you're also talking about the exact same thing where
yeah, it's true.
You're dealing in billionaires. I will say this is literally another criminal to add to the tape of I play the UFC game from 2012 called UFC Undisputed 3, which is widely known as the best MMA video game of all time. And
Go
this is
ahead.
another tick, much like in wrestling you do a tick when it's like, oh, watching an old pay-per-view where a wrestler is dead. And
Mm.
this is another tick of like horrible criminal. There was Brock Lesnar now, forced forced piss video. There was Josh Crispy who literally had his wife live as a dog essentially for a week. Just put her in a legit. Let the dog slept inside and she slept in the doghouse because they got in an argument. And there's like a guy with a meth lab that blew up. One of the referees was involved in sex trafficking as well.
It's a really interesting situation, and this happened. This is slowly happening with wrestling as well, but it's really happening with the UFC and Sean Strickland. Is the real world has discovered the UFC and WWE, and you're so right where they're like, why did he just say that? And it's like, wait, whoa, wait, whoa, wait, whoa, whoa. First of all, what I've been more concerned about what was written on his T-shirt. Second of all, if you think he's bad, there's like 8 guys that have retired that fully would just be like, listen, it's like I don't believe in what would be called like a Holocaust. I just want everyone to die so I can jack off on their bodies.
Oh, there was multiple former UFC champions at the insurrection.
Oh my God. I assume I'm surprised that Dana White was not like one of the guys that just sort of popped in. You know what I mean? Like,
But
wow.
this is why Endeavor split off to have the TKO thing, which was Vince McMahon is is Weinstein, but more so, and Dana White is the UFC marketing strategy right now is basically everyone that's right wing, let's go. Like they realized that Trump got 49% of the vote or whatever. Like Trump got a crazy amount of votes. So they were like, let's go. Everyone who voted for Trump is going to watch this thing.
We're your
So
football. Yeah, it's a very good point.
Black Rifle Coffee Company, Trump is at every event.
Yeah.
Like and Sean Strickland, that speech he did, which you guys can look up if you want, is has a
Are you gonna be
hundred.
doing
I saw a
fat
clip of it. It had
tattoos on the back?
1.1 million likes, not views. Likes.
A part of me did think Colby Covington has to be very sad that Sean Strickland is organically doing what he's been trying to pretend to do for fucking 3 years.
Well, because Colby Covington, for everyone says is an idiot, but it's like Colby Covington doesn't believe it.
Yeah, Colby Covington is a
Colby
guy
Covington
who-
has like friends.
yeah, Colby Covington's best days were behind him, and he was like, "Hey, listen, I would like to appear on the news cycle a lot, and also I'd like to annoy the shit out of Michael Bisping. I know what to do." And yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. And Sean Strickland was just literally probably just like looking in a mirror, going, "Daddy's gonna hurt me. Daddy's gonna hurt me. Daddy's dead, but Daddy knows me. I gotta go. Daddy, 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 Sean, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy."
So, what you said about the trans people, that's fine, right?
Oh, have you seen the Theo Vaughn podcast with Sean Strickland? Is
Oh yeah,
First of
Sean
all-
Strickland cries because of was his dad beat him up and he had a really bad childhood.
Oh, certainly. But the whole thing starts where it literally feels like Theo was just like in a room hanging out, and then Sean was just like, "Hey, we're doing a podcast, right?" And just made them set up the cameras. Like it's like the first 15 minutes are like, oh, it's crazy.
I don't think that Vince McMahon will get caught. I think that he will start a wrestling company with Sean Strickland and that
How
it will be
sad.
a solid number 3 because anything will be able to happen. It'll be the only wrestling company streamed directly to RedTube.
Where the fuck? What happened to, was it Control Your Narrative?
Oh yeah, the right wing
Oh,
one.
Get me Control Your Narrative with Vince McMahon back. Vince McMahon, Control Your Narrative.
Vince, Lesnar, Strowman.
Inside the strip club Strowman went to with his father-in-law. Holy shit. Also, what's the likelihood Vince McMahon shows up at a UFC event? I'm putting that at 40% with Trump.
I
I
think
still-
that the chance, yeah, he shows up with Trump and then they make some illusion, like Trump pretends to like like puts his
Trump,
head
I
on
got
his
news.
butt and they pretend to
Trump would
shit
not
on his
be
head.
subtle. Trump would like stand up and like pretend to pee or something like that. Or
No,
like,
no, that's what I mean. Yeah.
okay, yeah, okay, sorry. He's just
No, I mean it'll be like Trump like putting his head under his butt and going like, "Get it?
yeah.
She did it.
I'm alluding to that horrible thing that I like that he did.
Alluding to the fact that my friend is like Epstein, but we have proof.
Yeah. What's the difference between Vince McMahon and 9/11 being an inside job? Well, we have definitive proof that Vince McMahon did it.
Well, there was also like a chance that Donald Trump in a debate just for no reason was like, "Hey, I was on Jeff's planes. Let me see what came out about Vince. That's fucked up." Like he could see something like that. He'd be like, "That was fucked."
Like, I mean, if I'm Trump, I'm using this at the like. Every
Listen, you have to
rally,
understand
like,
who I am. I'm Donald J. Trump. That was fucked.
yeah, like guys, I got 91 fucking convictions. Let me tell you what's fucking crazy. This fucking guy that I've been to his fucking house. First of all, so many garages, no cars. Second of all, what the fuck?
Oh, that would 100%.
There's a screaming garage. That's another screaming garage. That's a crying garage. That's a dog garage. That's a dog garage. Dog is a. I'm not going to explain what dog means.
Yeah, all of these people could probably, all of these places are places that people could go when it's cold and they want to be warm, but I make them stand out here so they're cold when it's warm.
I mean, the amount of control that this man wants to exert over people, and the whole control aspect of him. Like we talked about this dude for a year, but the fucking thing where he doesn't like sneezing,
Yeah.
he doesn't like cigarettes because it's all about control. Like I guarantee Vince is one of those guys who's like, I haven't pissed in 3 weeks. No one tells me when to go.
He's also one of those guys that clearly lies about how much he sleeps, where it's that thing of all he does is keeps his phone by his bed and texts people through the night. But it's like, I guarantee he goes.
Oh, he just has a bunch of scheduled emails, so people just like, whoa, he emailed me at 2 a.m.
100%.
Oh yeah, he's a fucking. I mean, anyway, this has been. I'm not putting this on the main feed. That's for sure.
Oh no, my friends! I'm so sorry to the non-Patreon. Well, they're not going to hear this, but just yeah, sorry. We don't want to get. I don't think we get in trouble.
No, don't worry. I'll do some hard edits on this. There'll be a lot of ones where I go, you'll see that, and then it just cuts to like.
I say put this on the main feed. You know, I say put it on the main feed. I don't.
After some heavy editing, I will. All right. Thank you very much for your time, guys. Likes, revive, subscribe. Thank you so much.
Heavily edited against my will. I am a free speech advocate. I want you to hear the following jokes that were edited out. I'll read them. Dylan fully said the.